Hello everybody, Heather here. Well, it's one of those days where it's warmer outside than in. It is sunny in the northeast of Scotland, but it's not very warm. But any bit of sun we will take. Um, as you know, the cold is not good for our joints. Uh, Thank you to all my subscribers and to the new subscribers. Thank you for the lovely comments that you're all putting on the videos as well. So if you're new here, please like, share and subscribe. This videos are purely about how I deal with my rheumatoid arthritis. I'm not a medical expert. I've had rheumatoid for over 20 years, and so it's just how I deal with things on a daily basis. Well, I'm still knee deep in all the paperwork, hoping to get some of it finished today. Today I wanted to talk about sitting down, and it's one of my biggest bugbears. You know, in the days when I could actually go to the shops and trail round the shops, now I'm lucky if I can do standing up properly, 15, 20 minutes, and before I start to get the pain in my back. And I have found leaning against the wall or getting a seat, no matter how quick, does help. But I'm just talking about the very fact that it does put you off going to some places. For instance, I find sitting in a dining chair really difficult. I can manage, if it's a comfortable chair, maybe 15, 20 minutes tops. But normally, if it's a wooden chair, 10 minutes maximum. So you either have to be a really quick eater, or I find by the time that I'm coming to the suite, I want a comfy seat. I wonder how many of you feel the same way. And it's quite awkward if you're with other people that you have to say that you're not comfortable, and I'm quite sure that they can tell that we're in pain. I know that there has been many a cafe that I've had to just say, no, I can't do this because the seats are too uncomfortable. My other bugbear is that when you go into shops, and it's a rare occasion now, but if you go in and you're trying on shoes or things, why are the seats so far down? They're so low that you struggle to get off them. And, I don't count myself as old yet, but, for elderly people or people like us that struggle with our mobility, it's really a hazard and we just can't get off the seats. It's much better, and I can see all those years where my mum said no, she was looking for a seat that had two sides, because I'm becoming more and more like that myself, that it's more and more difficult to get off the seats. And that brings me round to, what do you sit on at home? And as I've said in one of the first videos, I remember my grandfather, who died in 1971, and he had really bad rheumatoid arthritis. And at that time, there wasn't the luxury of recliners and everything else. And the only chair that he could find comfortable was to sit on a piano stool. Now, to me, that is just nonsensical, because that must have been so uncomfortable for a man that had huge mobility issues, struggled to walk and could only walk with, two sticks, and even then, his joints were in a terrible condition. He was an invalid, a proper invalid. So, thank goodness that we've got recliners now. But that doesn't help us, that I can remember I went to see a friend who had had a recent bereavement. And her furniture was so large and so low down that I really struggled. And in the end, you could see how uncomfortable I was, and moved me to another room so that I could get a seat that had a recliner. Now, it's really, really awful that anything like that happens to us. And I am so glad that, nowadays most people have recliner chairs, but they might look at you a bit odd, when you're constantly putting the chair up. But I find it's the only thing that takes the strain off me and off my joints is to actually be sitting or sitting up, but my legs lying flat. So, so that's the only thing. So I wonder how many of you are like that out there. I bet there's quite a lot of you. Do you like my cowl? I've found I used to be a great cross stitcher, as you'll see from some of my pictures up here. But I can't do that anymore my hands just won't take, working with the needles. But I like to keep my hand in and knit, and I use circular needles rather than straight needles, as I found that helps. It's much better for me when I'm doing knitting and takes the strain off the joints a bit. I can't say that I can knit very fast or can't do a lot because I just do it as to how my joints allow me. But I think these cowls and things will come in handy this winter, which leads me on to another conversation. For those people that are not in the UK, the UK is having huge problems at the moment and are brought on a bit with the Ukraine and Russia crisis and the fuel crisis. So the UK used to be, isn't able to produce their own amount of fuel, and we were, like many other countries, relying on Russia. Now, because of that, and because we didn't have caps on our fuel companies, the prices have shot up. And despite the government saying that they're going to help people with their fuel bills, it's still a huge worry to an awful lot of people. And in fact, most of us are trying to stop putting our heating on for the slightest thing. I should say, for instance, just to give you an example of what's going on, my last bill for the month, I had used £10 of electricity and £17 of gas. My whole bill for those two came to £170, and that's because we're paying for VAT and we're paying for a standing charge. So everybody's been really economical, but I do wonder what on earth's going to happen to all of us this winter. They are talking about possibly having centres where people can go to keep warm. Because I know with people on a fixed income, or limited income, and even they're now saying, this is ridiculous, but they're now saying unless you're earning 50,000 a year that you're going to struggle with your bills. So I don't know how that leaves us who are, I always say this is the silent disease, because to a lot of people we look fit and healthy because they can't see until we start walking and things that we've got any problems. But to look at us, we look great. But unfortunately, our bodies let us down all the time. And I'm quite sure there's a lot of you that are out there that are just like me, that find the cold particularly bad. I just say, thank goodness I've got a hot water bottle. I've got another tip that my friend gave me, that when I fill up my kettle and use my kettle for my cup of tea in the morning, I fill a flask, and I use the flask throughout because the flask keeps warm for 12 hours, so I can still use the same water, and it saves me having to use my electricity. So if any of you are out there and are looking for a tip, just a wee tip to save money, we'll see how that goes. I've also joined the brigade and I've ordered an air fryer because they're telling everybody it's going to be much cheaper than using our ovens. So I'll let you know how I get on with my air fryer once it arrives. So I'm going to have an eventful week. I'm finally getting to meet my physio, Stuart, I've had a couple of telephone conversations with him, and he gave me some exercises to do for my knee, as well as rheumatoid arthritis. I'm now developing osteoarthritis of the knee, and it's like a red hot needle pain that goes shooting into my knee. So I've been given some exercises, but now I'm actually getting to meet Stuart face to face this week. So we'll see what the plan is and how to move forward. Anything that they can do to help is always a relief. So I'll let you know how I get on with that as well. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a really good week, and remember to like, share, comment. I love to hear your comments and see your comments. And also, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'll be back with you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.